sheeple, lazy and evil. For years I've watched y'all allow Donald Trump turn you to crazy people. Where's that freedom eagle when you...
Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. Let us discuss AEW Dynamite from December the what day is it, man? I forgot what day it is. It's the 8th. December the 8th, 2021. All right, let's just get through this, man. To me, this was quite easily one of the worst Dynamites of the year. Without a shadow of any doubt, this Dynamite is absolute booty butt cheeks. This show sucked. It was not good, and I know that I'm swimming uphill. I'm a salmon swimming uphill at this point, man. Salmon swimming uphill. A salmon swimming against the current on this whole thing, you know, because there's a deluge of everybody who just loves every single thing about AEW. And you ask them to think critically, even a little bit. It is impossible to get them to do so. And nothing more typifies this than the opening segment, 2 segments, 3 segments, let's say, of Dynamite. Nothing says you will accept whatever is put on this screen, like the CM Punk promo and all of the crap that involved MJF. CM Punk comes out there to MJF's theme. I thought that was actually cute. I was like, all right, usually the babyface comes out, or the babyface theme plays, and the heel comes out. And they did the same thing here. And I thought, okay, well, very interesting that CM Punk would troll the audience, you know. Why would he want to do that? I thought it would maybe as a surprise, you know, something to that effect. He then gets in the ring and cuts a heel promo and says that, oh, MJF, he's an incel because he thinks that I can't put over a woman without it being about sex. That he's wearing a 4 Pillars t-shirt with no MJF. He says that is MJF your guy? The audience says yes, yay. There. Then he says, I understand. You know, he talks about the Chicago Bulls and saying he hated Dennis Rodman when Dennis Rodman played for the Pistons. But then Dennis Rodman starts playing for the Chicago Bulls and he says, well, you know, MJF, he's your worm. And I like that line. I thought that line was very good. And I like that whole construct right there. It was really, really solid. The Dennis Rodman thing was good. He's basically talking about how fickle fans are. You know, I hated him when he was on the other team, but I love him because he's on my team. You know, it's the same guy, same demeanor, same everything. That is supposed to be what he's telling you is going on in this promo. If you're sitting back watching this promo and you're saying to yourself, CM Punk is being booed in Long Island, very, very, very odd decision making on AEW's part to put him in a position to be booed. And then some people will say, you know, so in this promo, he's telling you, well, they're acting this way because I'm in Long Island, which is MJF's hometown. That's what you're supposed to believe. And then he starts healing on the crowd, talking bad about the Islanders, which I'm guessing is a hockey team, and talking about how the hockey team sucks. And then he called the fans chicken shit. If MJF is your guy, then you all are chicken shits. And I just said to myself, I know what they're trying to do here. I mean, anybody with a barely functioning brain, you know, IQ over 82, can understand what they were trying to do here. Trying to do the old Bret Hart, split the audience. Oh, he's a babyface in Canada, but he's a heel in the United States, and all he's doing is telling the truth, man. And that's not the case here. For starters, Bret Hart was a heel. That was his character. His character was a heel. He was dissing the United States because he was a heel. And the Canadians liked him dissing the United States. That was the section that was cut off. That was the thing that was important. To the rest of the world, Bret Hart is dissing the United States. What beef should they have with Bret Hart? They're not Americans. So why should they care? Okay, that's how the setup is. Here, CM Punk goes to Long Island, and he's trying to elicit negative reactions from Long Island. Not, he's not doing anything in this promo that he would have done somewhere else, which is what Bret Hart would have done. Bret Hart would talk trash about the United States and Canada. He would also talk trash about the United States in the United States. It would just get different responses because it's a different audience. CM Punk has never stood in front of a crowd and talked about how their hockey team was trash. And that the crowd, if you side with your guy, you're a chicken shit. It shows it's inconsistent storytelling. We don't know if he's a babyface or a heel. And this becomes a bigger issue later as they try to have him do stereotypical babyface things after he came out there and antagonized the crowd. So what is going on here? What are you doing? Oh, they're trying to do the Bret Hart thing. I know what they're trying to do. I'm saying they're unsuccessful in doing it because they don't know what was about it that worked. And besides, this makes no sense. It should not matter if MJF is in his hometown. That doesn't matter. Okay? MJF is supposed to be a spoiled brat, an asshole, a chicken shit heel. He should be that everywhere. Now all of a sudden MJF is supposed to get this hero's welcome and you're feeding into it? You don't feed into it. That's the thing about... So, think about all the great stories throughout history of bad guys going into their hometown and getting cheered. And it happens. Of course it happens. I can think of one off the top of my head. Unforgiven. Ladder match. Edge versus John Cena. Edge got cheered. He was in tears. He still worked that match like a heel, though. He did not all of a sudden become the baby face and John Cena started working heel because they're in Toronto. That's not how that works. Yes, he's going to get a better reaction because he's in his hometown. He's going to get a more favorable reaction, sure. But for starters, don't feed into it. You don't elicit positive reactions from the crowd. You don't elicit negative reactions from the crowd if you're the babyface. This makes no sense. And now we're supposed to just pretend this didn't happen next week, though, right? Next week, CM Punk's going to come out there and talk about how much he loves everybody, how much he loves everything, and that, and we're supposed to pretend that he didn't just sit here and heal up on the Long Island crowd. We're supposed to pretend that MJF wasn't out here soaking in all the babyface love while he was a heel in Long Island. What the fuck is going on? Why would you do this? What purpose did this serve within the context of your story? CM Punk is trying to get MJF to fight him. Okay, so he comes out there and he disses the hometown hockey team and calls the crowd chicken shits, and that was supposed to get MJF to fight him? No, it didn't work. Did it work? No. So what did we get out of all of this outside of CM Punk getting to play with the audience? Because that's all it is a play. We know he didn't mean any of this shit. He's trying to be like his hero, Bret Hart. It's like, come on, bro. Could you imagine? Look, just a couple of weeks ago, right? Brian Breaker of NXT fame, NXT 2.0 fame, joined the heel side of the NXT 2.0 Civil War, right? He was naturally on that side because he is a young guy. And the dirt sheets were very upset that Brian Breaker was on the heel side, saying, oh, now he's the top heel. I think he's not really a heel. He's aligned with them, but he's not really a heel. He hasn't done anything heelish. He hasn't done or said anything heelish. He's on this side mainly because it furthers his agenda of getting in the ring with Tommaso Ciampa. That's why he was on this side. He wasn't on this side because screw the black and gold. He wasn't on this side because he wants to get over as a top heel and wants to be a mean bad guy. He didn't do anything. He just said, oh, Tommaso Ciampa's going to be in this match. I'm in it. And everybody else is a heel. Tony D'Angelo's a heel. Carmelo Hayes is a heel. Grayson Waller is a heel. And Brian Breaker, he's just there. Okay? I'm suiting up. This is my team for now. And then what happened, soon as it was over, he was still the same. His promo was still the same. Tommaso Ciampa, You and me, 1-on-1. I want to get the championship. And then a heel comes out there to challenge him to a match. He didn't turn babyface again. He was the same person that he already was. He didn't start dissing the audience. He didn't start dissing the crowd. He didn't start dissing any baby faces. So you can do this and get the split reaction. And I know Shawn Michaels did it, which is actually what CM Punk was doing, was the "Who's Your Daddy" Montreal thing from Shawn in his segment. That was actually more what CM Punk was doing. So while everybody wants to say, oh, it was Bret Hart, it was actually more of a Shawn Michaels thing. Because Shawn was a babyface when he did the "Who's Your Daddy" Montreal segment. Okay? And he did that. I think he was on the road to wrestling Hogan. And Hogan was super over in Montreal too. So, of course, Montreal hates Shawn Michaels. Shawn Michaels comes out there, he trolls Montreal, and he goes about his business and pretends to be a babyface again for the rest of his life. Until those couple of weeks where he dissed Hulk Hogan. Yeah, it's inconsistent storytelling, but not to this degree. Shawn had a long history with Montreal. He knew Montreal did not like him. That has nothing to do with what CM Punk is talking about. CM Punk doesn't have heat with Long Island. Okay, he didn't have heat with Long Island. For what? They didn't buy enough T-shirts. They're mad he didn't buy them ice cream. What's the heat? The heat is MJF. Okay, we could have just had MJF get his cheers. He could have still gotten cheered. And CM Punk should have been the same exact person he always was. Came out there, got the big reaction, cut the same promos he would have cut before. Could have said a lot of the same stuff that he said in this promo about Larry having more balls than MJF. And that, MJF is an incel for saying what he said about Britt Baker, all this kind of stuff. He still probably would have gotten booed. But they were chanting, shut the fuck up. And CM Punk was playing into it. Instead of treating them like the aberration that they were, he was treating these people like they were the normal, like this was normal. The important point of the Bizarro World concept is that you don't really change. It is you being tossed into a situation that is out of the ordinary, right? John Cena didn't start working heel when he went to Philadelphia, knowing that everybody was going to hate him for ECW One Night Stand. He was still John Cena. Still did the 5-knuckle shuffle. He got booed. So what? It's consistent. He is the same character everywhere he goes. CM Punk changing his character for the purposes of helping MJF get over in his hometown did what? Nothing. So then MJF comes out there. They do a vignette where they're talking about MJF, and they says that, if you think this guy is a villain, then you're clearly not from Long Island. And they start talking about the most magical place on earth. And all this, you must have never rode this train and did this thing. And he's wearing his old high school Plainview high jacket, and he looks like Al Bundy out there, in his old poke-high jacket. And they're talking about all this great stuff that MJF did, and he's you may think he's the villain, but here, he's the salt of the earth. And I'm just kind of like, this is the guy who just called somebody's mom a meth addict. Was it like a month ago? Like, he has not changed. The nature, the core of the MJF character is as rotten as ever. And he comes out to this huge babyface pop that he decides to soak in and feed into, and he's doing the Jericho ladle and the guardrail and everything. And I'm just looking at this shit like, what is going on here? It's one thing to get that reaction and you don't really want it. You're not trying to get it. It's just happening. And you just kind of roll with it because it's happening, which is how you handle this situation. When you go into these bizarre situations, you keep being you usually. And then, you would get the reaction that you want. So MJF works the entire match as a babyface, even though he's essentially the heel. He's hiding behind Wardlow the whole match. Wardlow's in there doing his thing. They're doing a battle royal where there's two winners somehow. The match is over with two people in the ring. they did a good job of keeping MJF outside the ring by having and letting the other people do their thing. So Lio Rush and Dante Martin their storyline takes front and center here. Hobbs and Wardlow have a face off. The crowd reacted very well to that. Wardlow then helped Lio Rush eliminate Hobbs, which, it was what it was. Dante Martin and Ricky Starks were left alone with MJF. Then Dante Martin tossed Ricky Starks and then ripped off his Team Taz armband. Ricky Starks was disgusted after this. Dante Martin and MJF was the last two, so they're going to wrestle for the Dynamite Diamond Ring next week. MJF offered to shake Dante Martin's hand, and Dante shook his hand, and everybody came across looking like they smelled like roses. And I was like, what the fuck? Okay, we're just going to roll with it. Then Ricky Starks attacks Dante Martin after the match. He's pummeling him. The crowd actually calls for MJF to make the save. MJF, go make the save. Okay, so MJF runs to the ring. But instead of making the save, he helps beat up Dante Martin. And so wait a minute. How is the crowd supposed to react here? Because up until a couple of minutes ago, they thought Dante Martin was a heel, right? He had joined Team Taz and betrayed Lio Rush. Then he betrays Team Taz. And now he's being betrayed by MJF. So now MJF, who they thought was the babyface, is helping a heel beat up on another heel, another babyface. What's happening here? But it's two guys beating up on one guy in front of this audience. And then CM Punk runs to the ring after he had healed up and called the crowd chicken shits. After he had dissed the hometown hockey team for 10 minutes or whatever. He comes out there to make the save, gets booed while making the save. So who are the baby faces and who are the heels? The only person who is still in their proper alignment is Ricky Starks. So we have to use him as the tent pole. That means helping Ricky Starks as a heel. So that means MJF, heel, helped Ricky Starks, heel, beat up on Dante Martin, babyface. CM Punk came to the ring, babyface, to help the babyface. Therefore, everybody got booed in this segment. MJF got booed for helping to beat up on Dante Martin. And CM Punk got booed for saving him. How does any of this make any sense? It's almost like a tongue twister as you're sitting here trying to figure out the random twists and turns, the random swerves in this segment. This was horse shit. This was the most poorly written stuff I've ever seen conceived. If CM Punk was going to come out and make a save, listen, you scripted this. If CM Punk is going to come out there and make a save later, especially on a young, undersized babyface, he's going to get beat up by two guys. Why did CM Punk turn heel earlier? Why did he heel on the crowd earlier? You knew he was going to make the save later. So shouldn't that be babyface stuff? He's making a save later. That should be the good you want him to make the save. Or do we not care about Dante Martin because he was just a heel a few seconds ago? I don't know. I don't know what we're supposed to feel. What am I supposed to feel? But the thing is, I'm not supposed to feel anything. I'm supposed to just go along for the ride. I'm supposed to shut up and chant and tweet about how this is so great. This is so awesome. Everything about this is fantastic. It's some of the best pro wrestling in the world. You're like, what are you talking about? This is poorly written gob shit. Could you imagine this? Transport this same situation into a comic book situation. You know? Both Spider-Man and the Green Goblin are both from New York, but they're from different neighborhoods. And Spider-Man goes to stop the Green Goblin in a certain section of New York where the Green Goblin is the babyface. And so Spider-Man comes in, and all of a sudden, everybody who likes the Green Goblin, maybe for some odd reason, whatever the reason he might just be nice to all the people in this area. He doesn't drop any of his pumpkin bombs in this area. All right, whatever. So they love the Green Goblin. So Spider-Man is supposed to come into this particular neighborhood and then start antagonizing these people while at the same time trying to fight the Green Goblin. And then the Green Goblin, who is beloved by this audience, is going to start doing horrible things to somebody, and the audience is going to cheer it, and Spider-Man is going to get booed for saving this person. So you have to ask at that point, who's the villains? The villains are the crowd. The villains are the people who are cheering the horrible shit that the Green Goblin is doing. That's how it works. The crowd should not be cheering the horrible shit that the bad guys are doing. If that's happening, then somebody failed at something. For years, Roman Reigns got booed. People claimed he was horrible. He was terrible at his job. Seeing the same thing. Oh, they're so terrible at their job. They keep getting booed as baby faces. CM Punk just got booed and wanted it, asked for it. Again, Roman and Cena was just being them, and people booed. So what? They kept doing their thing. That's how you handle this situation. You don't feed into it. This opening, I don't know, what was this? Opening 40 minutes of Dynamite? Horrible. And I haven't even gotten to the rest of the show, which was absolutely tiring. I cannot believe it. I spent 20 minutes on just trying to untangle this butt fucker of a storyline that they're trying to create. This did not get us 1 inch closer to MJF and CM Punk. It didn't get us 1 inch closer. I thought that CM Punk was going to enter the Battle Royal. That's what I thought. And he was going to toss out MJF or toss out become the last guy. And now MJF has to fight him. That's what I thought was going to end up happening. But I was kind of glad that they didn't do that, because it would have been a little bit predictive. It also would have been a waste to put CM Punk in a Battle Royal. And also would have been weird to put CM Punk and MJF on Dynamite for a diamond ring and not for something that's a little bit more precious. So I'm glad they resisted the desire to do that. But I'm definitely frustrated at how, look, CM Punk is a character. I guess it doesn't matter. But it matters to me. You know, as a person who cares about storytelling and consistent storytelling, I don't see why you would do this. And you scripted this. You scripted Dante Martin to resist Team Taz, to throw it away, only for what? That was a limited cheer, because then he got beat up after that. And then he got booed for being saved. Makes no sense. The Varsity Blondes and the Jurassic Express defeat 2.0 and the Acclaimed in a match that was entirely too long, which became a staple of this show. Every match was 20 minutes or something like that. Kingston came out there to stop Garcia from interfering. He's wearing a DMX hoodie, which I thought was pretty dope. Santana and Ortiz were wearing a war paint, and I didn't understand why. And to the point where I was confused that whether it's either Santana or Ortiz. Because I'm like, why are they wearing the war paint? Usually they wear the war paint when they're in a big, long-running feud and they're about to have the big blow-off match. But now they just walk around in face paint because reasons? I don't know. Eddie Kingston tells the cameraman to follow him. He's back there cutting his URL battle rap promo to no goddamn audio. And all of a sudden 2.0 runs back there along with Daniel Garcia and beats all three of them up. That's not a good look. You got 3 New York guys. He couldn't beat up these guys? Okay. I love Eddie Kingston. I wish he was doing better, though. FTR said Tully said they will be the tag team champions again and that they will beat the Lucha Brothers. Cash says that they never lost to the Lucha Brothers, that the one loss that they do have is a fluke. They pinned the wrong guy, and that you guys have never beaten them, FTR. Max Hardwood took over on the promo, says that Friday night is how he pays his bills. It's going to stuff his family's stockings. He's going to win, become the first time, 2-time AEW tag team champions. Okay. I love Dax as a promo. He's a fantastic promo. The Young Bucks then defeated Chuck Taylor and Rocky Romero in a match that was entirely too long. God, it was so boring. During this match, of course, Adam Cole got kissed on the cheeks again. I think Adam Cole has probably done more kissing with the Young Bucks than he has with Britt Baker. I'm pretty sure he has had their lips on him more than he has Britt Baker's lips on him. I'm telling you, there is something very, very odd about the amount of kissing these grown men are doing. Adam Cole has tried to interrupt the match. He got fake kicked from behind by Orange Cassidy, which is, can we please get over that shit, man? You would think that this guy is about to beat up your friend. There would be some sense of urgency there, but no, apparently not. The Young Bucks win the match. Then Trent made his triumphant return with his mom, back from spinal surgery. I didn't know he had spinal surgery. This is pretty badass, man. I got to give him credit for coming back for this. He looks like a skinny Miro now. He got a nice little beard. He cut his hair. I'm still not feeling the whole my mom drives me to work, shit. Come on, be an adult. He came in and he beat up everybody by himself. He beat up everybody by himself. So they really put him over strong. And I was like, okay. I'm at least going to say, all right, they could put him over strong. It's a big return. Unexpected. Got a great reaction. I heard this was his hometown too. Maybe not. Who knows? So the match was awful. The post match was mostly awful, but Trent's return was fine. Glad Trent is okay. Ruby Soho was hanging out with Tony Schiavone. She didn't get a single word out before the Bunny and Penelope Ford interrupted. He said that Nyla Rose promised them championship matches once the TBS title tournament is over, because they swear Nyla Rose is going to win. And then they said, well, we're going to have this 6-person tag team match where it's going to be Bunny, Penelope Ford, and Nyla Rose versus Ruby and 2 of her friends, but she doesn't have any friends because she's Ruby Solo. How funny is that? Then Ruby did something stupid and they ended up jumping her, beating her up. Then Ty Conti and Anna Jay made the save. I don't care. I don't care. All the steam from Ruby is gone. They used her big destination AEW. They beat the crap out of her already. She only lost like 1 match, but that 1 match mattered, and now she's down to doing something that doesn't matter. Sammy Guevara came out there. Sammy Guevara, open challenge guy. He didn't get 1 word out before Cody came out there. And he says, Sammy, you're doing a great job. I'm really enjoying all of your open challenges. You remind me of a young me. From one good guy to another. Tony has already made it official. Christmas Day, you'll be defending the TNT Championship versus me. I'm really looking forward to it. Thank you for your time. I love you guys. Hope you enjoy Dynamite. I have a beautiful baby girl. And it's like, come on, get the fuck out of here, Cody. Ethan Page then said that Cody was an ass kisser. That's how he keeps getting to skip the line. And that maybe if he kissed ass too, maybe he'll get an EVP job and get title shots. Scorpio Sky said that Sammy Guevara is avoiding the top 5. He needs to prove that he's a real champ, be a man and have some balls. And they, of course, announced that, what's his face? I forgot his name already. The guy from America Top Team. He's going to be coming back. I was just like, I don't care about any of this. Now, Cody versus Sammy Guevara. Now, that's a fun match. I'm okay with that. I think that's actually interesting. Because you do have to answer the question, are you going to put the belt back on Cody? No, they're not going to do that. They're going to have Sammy Guevara win the match, right? So, that's perfectly fine with me. I do like the idea that, considering this is the only title that Cody can win, it's the one he's going to keep challenging for until they decide to break that silly rule that he can be world champion. He doesn't have the ability to challenge for any other title except a tag team belt. And he's going to make a Cody Rhodes championship. A Rhodes to the top title. This about to haven't had a Rhodes to the top ladder match yet. I'm giving them bad ideas, I know. But Cody versus Sammy Guevara on Christmas Day, that's perfectly fine. Christmas Day is a big deal for wrestling. Cody knows this. He wants to try to elevate Sammy Guevara. All right, cool. I'm wondering if somebody's going to interfere. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge at Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky. Okay. I hope this doesn't turn into a tag team situation. I have zero interest in Cody being in a tag team with Sammy Guevara. And yes, I know Cody was trying to be cute from one good guy to another. Stop trying to be cute and winking and nudging at these fucking people. Just tell the fucking story you're trying to tell, man. Stop telling these people that you're listening to them. It only means for them to interact more and try to write the story more. They are the consumers. They are not the authors. I know that as a person who watches wrestling, I am the consumer. I do not have any creative control over the show. I only give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down. That's it. I can pitch ideas to people who are listening. I could send my resume to WWE if I wanted to. But ultimately, I want them to provide me with a good show. I don't want to write their show. That's the thing. Ultimately, I want to see what you got. I'm not here to rewrite your show or to write your show for you. Too often these people try to write the show, and what ends up happening is you end up alienating all the people who just want to watch the show. Most people just want to sit back and enjoy the show. They don't want to be the author, and you need to take that into account. All right, Jamie Hayter versus Rio. This match was, again, entirely too long. What is up? There was a spot where Rio jumped from the top rope and literally bounced off of Jamie Hayter, slid down, and then they had to act like Jamie Hayter caught her. She wasn't. She was on the ground. Lifted her up and ran her into the ring post. Jamie Hayter loses from the top rope crucifix bomb, which is a crazy spot for you to do in a nothing match on a Wednesday. Never do that spot again, Jamie, if you can help it. Riho then wins with a running Meteora. Of course she did. This match was entirely too long. Britt Baker then jumped Riho post-match. And, we're setting up their big match. Okay, whatever. Some account, I think it was the No Context Flair account, said that Jamie Hayter has the best thighs in wrestling. Look, man. Look, to each his own. But I respectfully decline, with all due respect. I love that account. But if you think Jamie Hayter got the best thighs, your eyes must only work sometimes. Because there is some gams. Let me tell you about these gams I saw on SmackDown. All right? Tell you about these gams I saw in NXT. You need to take a look at Bayley. All right? You need to take a look at that, what she's working with when it comes to the thigh butt area. All right, you need to talk about Naomi. She got buckets. She's putting up buckets when it comes to the thigh booty area. You need to talk. I don't even need to talk about our cherry lip part goddess. You need to have Jamie Hayter. I don't know. I mean, that's a personal thing. Some people got fetishes. Okay, whatever. But I think objectively speaking, when respectfully speaking, sometimes there are things that are thangin' harder than that, buddy. Jamie, even if you thought Jamie Hayter is banging, she ain't got shit on that Bayley, Naomi, and Toni Storm trio. I mean, my God. You talking, man, them girls thick as phone books. You feel me? Boy. Boy. Oh, they think it's heat in the sauna. Let me tell you something. Wait a minute. I lost where I was. Where was I? What was I talking about? I legit lost my place. What was I talking about? All right. So, no wonder, because the rest of this show was trash. Taz. Okay, Taz. All right. So Taz said they send in Hook on Friday. Hook is going to wrestle Fuego del Sol. Hook looked like a Don from Street Fighter. He got the tape fist with the with the kickboxing shorts. Oh, look, I'm okay. Look, I'm very intrigued by Hook and his and everybody's love of him. So I will definitely be. I watch Dynamite, well, Rampage anyway, but I'll definitely be paying more attention to Hook. I don't know how old he is, but I do enjoy seeing new faces and seeing new faces do new things. Hopefully, he's good. I don't want to diss him too much without knowing whether he's any good or not. So I hope Hook is good. I'll give his first match a try, but him wrestling Fuego del Sol is already off on the wrong side with me. Everything Fuego del Sol is an absolute dumpster fire, and you can't sell me anything different. So the Varsity Vines are about to talk, which makes no sense because they never talk anymore. They didn't get 2 words out before the lights cut off. Lights turned back on, and Malachi Black spit in Julia Hart's face. And then she sold it as if she was being brutally murdered. And everybody was like, oh, that's that mist, that blind puck. Oh, the mist. Oh, what is wrong with this Malachi Black? He's a deranged individual. And I was like, okay, where's this going though? Because he's fallen off a goddamn cliff. He's gone from feuding with Cody to feuding with Check Snotes, Griff Garrison. Griff Garrison? Griff Garrison? Look, man. Hey, this is like some choose your own adventure shit at this point, you know? Like, hey, you know what? Let's just do it. Now, this could be interesting. If this leads to a Julia Hart heel turn and her joining Malachi Black because, you know, she's been freed or she's been corrupted or something like that, and she, you know, takes that opportunity to join Malachi Black, this could be fun. It could legit be fun. But if she's just going to continue being the cheerleader, or if they're going to do something silly and she's going to be blind, I don't care. Okay. What I want is for Malachi Black to do something fun. Now, I'm not saying that Malachi Black can't have fun matches with Brian Pillman. He can. You know, that could be very, very fun. Very fun. It won't get shit out of Brian Pillman, though, because that means Malachi Black has to win. Malachi Black should be going against higher level opponents. He should be in the CM Punk sweepstakes, the Bryan Danielson sweepstakes. He should be preparing to wrestle top guys in top guy matches. He should not be slumming with guys who can barely get off dark. This is, look, I know he spent a couple of years in catering, spent a couple of years sitting in dark rooms begging for people to knock on doors. I get it. You know, WWE didn't use him very well, but AEW is also not using him well. Okay. He had some pretty good matches in WWE too. He had a good series of matches with Seth Rollins. You know, he was able to do a storyline there. He's only had one storyline so far. You know, so hopefully this leads to a story, because that's the big picture here. There needs to be a story. All right. You can't just do random shit and then just leave it alone. Or just this is going to lead to me fighting you in a match. Like, okay, so once he beats these two guys, then what? What's the next thing? All right. I don't care about these matches because I know how it's going to go. Neither one of these guys is going to beat him. So what's the next thing? What in this match is going to make me care about the next thing? That's how you further along a story. You take something that seems pretty obvious to the average Joe. Yes, Griff Garrison's going to try to avenge Julia Hart. He's going to get kicked in the face. Brian Pillman's going to try to, do this. He's going to get kicked in the face. But what other type of aspects is going to take place here that's going to make this intriguing in the long term? If the answer is, well, they're just going to have a match, well, then fuck. Let them do this on Dark and Dark Elevation and let's get it over with, and then we could do something else. You know? Because I don't want to see I don't want to see Malachi Black in a tag team either. That sounds stupid. You know? He stopped cutting promos. Have you noticed? He doesn't really cut promos anymore. All the really cool Smoky Room promos he was doing in AEW, those have kind of disappeared. Those have gone away. Why? 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 It makes no sense. Main event, Bryan Danielson versus John Silver. In a match, come on. Was it ever in any doubt? No. Does John Silver any good? No. He sucks. Gotch style power driver, and then a submission hold from Danielson. The referee stops the match. John Silver loses, of course. Post-match, Bryan Danielson notes all the heads he kicked in, and then reminded us that he promised he was going to kick all their fucking heads in, and he neglected to kick John Silver's head in. So he went to go rectify that post-haste. And he went over there, grabbed his arms, and proceeded to stomp him in the fucking head. And then Hangman Page came down to the ring and fought Bryan Danielson off. Bryan Danielson fled. Hangman Page says, next week I'm going to stomp the cowboy shit out of you. And that is the go-home spot to their world title match. And you know what? I said this on Twitter and I don't think people understood. If I got 15 friends and they see me motionless somewhere, I would hope one of them, just one, well, you only need one, would stop my head from being kicked in, not wait until my head started getting kicked in. A penny of prevention is worth more than a pound of cure. Hangman Page, as the hero, should have stopped it. He should have been there before it happened. Mainly because Bryan Danielson had already let it be known that's what he was going to do. It's not like it was an accident, like, he stumbled into this, or after the match, Danielson just grabbed his head, like, okay, well, stomp, 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 stomp. He told everybody he was about to stomp his head in. And then it took Hangman so long to get out there that John Silver had already been kicked in the head like 4 or 5 times by the time Hangman got to the ring. Like, thanks, bro. I only got stomped 8 times instead of 10. Thanks, bro. I think I might only have a mild concussion. They couldn't even do this right. You should have stopped it. I know that WWE, sometimes they do that when they had the babyface come out there too late. It's like you're being told that the heel is about to do something horrible. But I do love Bryan Danielson. He is tremendous. He's been very good. I love that he's been keeping count of all the guys who's kicked their heads in, and he's been keeping his promises. He was going to keep that promise. And he stomped the tar out of John Silver. But I think it would have been so much better, especially for Bryan Danielson's heat, if he had not been able to stomp John Silver. Because it could have been something he could have tried to do next week. Again, there's episodic television. Just think about how cool it would have been if he just said, I told y'all I was going to kick all their fucking heads in. And then he says, in this match, I didn't get a chance to do that to John Silver. John Silver escaped me stomping his head in, but he doesn't seem to be able to stop me now. So he goes to put over there, and as soon as he says he doesn't like he's going to be able to stop me now, here comes Adam Page, before he even get a chance to do it. And Danielson runs off, and he gets kind of frustrated because, he made a promise. He promised that he's going to stomp all their fucking heads in. And then he starts Dynamite next week by saying, I am going to get John Silver before this main event happens. I promised Adam Page I'm going to stomp all of his goddamn friends, and I'm going to get John Silver before this match happens. And throughout the night, he kept trying to stomp and otherwise attack John Silver. It could have been, that was, of course, taken. They don't do that because they don't do episodic storytelling like WWE does. But it would have been something nice, just a nice little cherry that they could have added by saying, I am going to get John Silver. He did not escape me. He got away from me temporarily, but I'm going to find him, and I'm going to kick his fucking head in. And it made Daniel Bryan seem like he's fucking nuts. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's crazy. He's a crazy person. Like, it was one thing to do this stuff during the match, but now he's doing this stuff outside of the match. Like, he's really just hunting guys down and stomping their heads now. Like, that's an elevation of the character. That is no longer sportsman, I'm doing whatever it takes to win. This is now, I am a psycho, head-kicking motherfucker. And I'm going to start kicking fucking heads in whether the bell rings or not. You know, and that's got to be a guy that Hangman Page has got to stop. You know, that would have been fun. That would have been great. Could have had a vignette where, you know, John Silver is, you know, kind of beat up from the previous week. And maybe everybody's trying to protect him. The entire Dark Order is around him. And then somebody goes to the bathroom, or John Silver has to go to the bathroom or something like that. And boom, Danielson is there, kicking him and stomped his goddamn head in the bathroom. I don't see why not. Wasn't the Inner Circle hanging out in the bathroom one time and they flushed MJF's head in the toilet? So don't tell me that that's too out of place. Look, man, this show was a train wreck. You know, the worst thing about it is that it was boring. You know, you can have a bad show, and bad shows are at least fun to rip. Boring shows, you can't get anything out of it. You know, when it's just a show just exists, like this show just exists, you kind of have to ask yourself, what the fuck is the purpose of this show? But they didn't really feature Hangman Page on this show, which says a lot about how they feel about him as a world champion. They kind of, you know, there was very little Britt Baker on this show. I don't think there was a Britt Baker promo on this show. The matches were entirely too long. They need to learn the fine art of leaving some of the, I'm not saying leave all the money on the table, you know, but don't work a match like it's never going to happen again. You know, like Riho and Jamie Hayter giving away that big crucifix bomb finish. It's like, how about no? You do that in a match that actually matters instead of doing that here. Nobody's going to remember this match in 2 weeks. You know, unless you're a diehard AEW sexual, you're not going to remember this match in 2 weeks. Chances are, maybe me ranting about CM Punk and MJF, you know, maybe somebody will say, well, nobody's going to remember this promo in 2 weeks, which I think is a sad thing because these are the things that typically stick with people. You know, is these long promo segments. The matches don't always stick, but the promos most of the time does. That's why I can name the Who's Your Daddy Montreal promo from, what was it, 2005? Without having seen it in a long time, you know. I couldn't tell you who Sean wrestled that night, though. I don't even think he had a match that night. But I want AEW to do well. I really do. And right now, AEW it's a leaky boat. It's not quite the Titanic, but it's a leaky boat. And everybody sees the leaking in the boat. And they're calling it it's not too bad. It's not a big deal. It's like last week. When the rating came out last week, everybody started nitpicking the shit out of Dynamite. Like, oh, this is the problem. Oh, that's the problem. It's like you can watch the fucking show and see the problems. Don't post hoc justify the low rating. And, it's because of this. It's because of that. You can look at the show. Just look at the show. What reason do you have to go from one segment to the next? There really isn't one. You know, there really is no reason for you to go from one segment to the next. Or from 1 week to the next. So that means you can skip out on whole weeks of this show. You've told me that Danielson is not wrestling anybody who matters for 3 weeks. So guess what? I'm tuning out for 3 weeks. All right. You the one told me that. You know? I didn't ask. You told me. So, whatever. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Like this video, share this video, subscribe to the channel, donate to the channel. Thank you guys for your time. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out.
Old non-aggression. Once that lesson sets in, you'll see a session. But you got an affection for no progression.